Greetings all, and welcome to EPSY 5320, Motivation and Educational Contexts. And I had to think about that for a little bit because this is the very first time this course is being offered. So I'm very excited about that. Of all the topics in educational psychology, motivation is my favorite. It's what got me into the field. Oh, by the way, my name is Mike Yeo. So you can please feel free to call me Mike. So I just want to take this opportunity to welcome you to the course and also talk about a few house cleaning things to make sure you guys get off to a good start. And I've got notes over here, which is why I'll be periodically looking over here. First thing I just want to say is please do look at the syllabus and please look at it and read it very thoroughly. It is currently posted on Brightspace under course content. I think it's in a folder called course information, although it's the only item in that folder, but please do look at it carefully. There are also rubrics on Brightspace and also under course content, and there's also a readings folder. So this is the required textbook. There will be additional readings, and they are on Brightspace. Also, along with this, since we're talking about readings, generally speaking, and there are exceptions, but there are about 2 different readings a week. And one of them is almost always a chapter from the aforementioned text that I just referred to. Please read that one first, and please read it thoroughly, make sure you understand it. So that really provides kind of a foundation really for the course, but also for the subsequent journal article, which often accompanies that chapter in those particular weeks. The journal articles are a little bit, or actually maybe a lot more technical than the chapter, so I'm not as concerned that you thoroughly digest each and every little bit of the journal article. You should understand what's going on, but specifically the results section might be quite challenging for most of you, and don't get hung up on that. So a lot of times the results section will, the results were gleaned through analyses that you may not have been trained in yet. So don't get hung up on that. Do pay attention to all other aspects of the article, like how they've set up the argument, how they're reviewing the literature, the flow of the argument, and the methods, I think, are important as well. What did they actually do to figure out, to answer the question that they're asking? What else do I want to say about that? I think that's about it for readings. Also, discussion. So, most graduate level courses are discussion based, and especially online courses are discussion based. So I would like to encourage you guys to all to maximize the effects of the discussion if you guys would post early and post often. I think that we'll have the best discussions if we all try to kind of do that. That's if you can, and I totally understand that schedules will highly dictate a lot of that, and perhaps you're taking an online course because you have really tight schedules. The other thing I want to say about discussion boards are we're going to kind of try something a little funky. So we do have discussion forums that are in Brightspace, but we also will use Flipgrid, which is kind of like a video-based discussion forum, and we'll do that every other week. Now the intent is to try to make this class really as meaningful and as engaging as possible. We just can't be as engaging as we could if we were all face-to-face, but the video is an attempt to kind of at least move in that direction. And yet, at the same time, I think conventional, written discussion boards still have benefit as well. So I'd kind of like to try to capture the best of both of those worlds. So we'll probably be switching every other week. We will be switching every other week. I don't need to qualify that. Please do also check out the syllabus in terms of like the guidelines for posting on discussion threads, whether they're on Flipgrid or through Brightspace. That will help to assure that you get the most out of the discussions. Having said all of that, the first week is a little different. The expectations are not, they're a little bit more relaxed. The first week's meant to be more informal. This first week is really introductions. introductions of really basically one another and also the course. The kind of the guidelines or rules don't apply for the first week. So, for example, from week 2 on, you'll need to provide an outside source when responding to a discussion post. That doesn't pertain to week 1. Week 1, there's 2 discussion threads. One is basically to introduce yourself, and the other is basically to find out what you guys, or it's to help me find out what you guys want to learn in this class. So I'm assuming that you guys took this class because you had a question regarding motivation, and so please do look at the syllabus, the textbook, peruse that, and if there's any topics that don't appear to cover the area that you're really interested in when registering for this course, please do let me know. We'll craft those last 2 weeks of the weeks 14 and 15, I should say, of the course to try to address your questions. So, what you want to learn. What else do I want to say? I think that's about it. Yeah. So, again, there's more to say, but I've said it in the syllabus. It's a long syllabus to keep this shorter, except I'm continuing to talk anyway. But, yeah, I very much look forward to getting to know you guys throughout the course and assisting your learning in any way I can. Take care.